Hello, how are you guys? I am going to go into presentation mode and start here. All right, so I'm going to start a series where I talk about when to walk away. We have a serious problem. There are a lot of us who are flooding into business. A lot of people, because of the changing economy, different things on the job are happening, and a lot of people are wanting to work for themselves. They want to be self employed, they want to have their own business. And a lot of people are going into entrepreneurship in record numbers. There are some demographics that are flooding into business for themselves more than others. Um, Black women come to mind. They're really going into business in large volumes for a variety of reasons. And we really have a serious problem because there are a lot of people who have more expertise than we do who are noticing this. They're paying attention to this. And I have seen a lot of stories out there about ones who have been making choices that may not have been the best choice for themselves just because they didn't have all of the information. So I am not a web designer. I'm not an expert in web design, but I did want to share some things that I have experienced myself, some disappointing mistakes and things I've seen other people do. And I really hope this will be helpful for you as you make choices or as you go through the process of figuring it out on your own. I just want to give you the resources that I haven't, that I wish that I had. I wish I had somebody to tell me this, what I'm giving to you now. And I usually, last year, I was offering consulting fees associated with the information I'm about to give now. But I just realized, you know what, this information really does have to get out there. This course or this consult used to be a couple $100s, but now I really decided, you know what, people really need to have this information. And if they, want to work with me in another way, they can reach out to me, but I really want you to have this. So I'm going to get into the information and we're going to go over website designing, website hacks, what can happen to a website, and some of my lessons learned. So takeaway, if you have to leave or have to pause this and come back, the main takeaway I want you to have is have a really good idea of what you need before you start looking for help. Look at a YouTube video or two if you need to do so. So my background is not in business. I'm not in web design. I'm not a graphics person. So when I made my first hires or my first early decisions when it came to web design, I was simply looking for someone who knew more than I did. And guess what? Lots of people knew more than I did, and lots of people could look like they knew more than I did, even when we were like basically on the same page. So and I'll go over some details. So actually, let me just keep moving because I want to come to that. So web design. So typically, a reputable web designer will take you through the following process. They'll make sure that you have content to go on the pages. They'll make sure that you have graphics ready to go. They'll do a walkthrough through your website after it's done, and there's a handoff process. You get to keep the keys. Now, I've heard of people who lost the keys to their kingdom. They've finished a project with a web designer. They paid the web designer a whole lot of money. In a short time, they found out the website wasn't, as they thought it would be, or, they noticed a problem. They went back to the web designer and they can't find the person. Then they're like, okay, I can't find the person. I'm going to find somebody else to do the fixes. They go to someone else, a new web designer, and the new web designer can't get in to do the fixes because the website was built with the original web designer's information. There's like no connection to you, the site owner, to the website. So I hope that makes sense. So just make sure that you keep the keys to the kingdom, that you grant people permission to come to your website and do work, and then you can ungrant them permission. Just make sure that that's a thing because I've seen it where people, web designer will build a thing and then give it to their client. The thing isn't working the way it should be, but now the client is almost locked into a relationship with the web designer. So another thing that a reputable web designer would have is a work plan. There are usually phases with this. There is a kickoff call. There is, typically like a work session, and then there's a handoff, and there's a couple of reviews. So just make sure you understand the work plan and that they have one. Okay, that's another thing. Reputable folks, they're used to phases, they're used to work plans, and they're happy to let you know their process. They'll be even excited that you're asking about their process, especially for design work. And you can read this. I don't want to read the slides to you, but different ones have different ways of working with you, of getting, interviewing you, learning about your audience, learning about what you need. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that later. Others will do that for free. Others, some people will just take a look, have a call with you. You talk about your hopes and dreams, what you want. It's a free call, and they'll give you some advice. And if you decide to go with them, they might give you a discount. Others will talk with you, listen to your hopes and dreams, the very same thing, but they're calling that a paid analysis of what you need. And then after that paid consult call, you'll make it like an audit or a checklist of things you need to do. You can do the things with them, or you can go elsewhere. But this is just some things for you to know about. So the key thing is, again, no matter how they work, just make sure that there's a phase to it. There's like an action plan that you can follow and that makes sense. And also ask about a kill fee. And this is pretty much what happens if and when the project does not go as expected. In the design world, this happens all of the time. And typically, reputable designers, they have a kill fee, right? They want to know that if it's not working for you and them, if something's not working, there's a way for everyone to cut their losses and just, leave off. Make sure that you know what that is for them. So the key takeaway is that you are the expert when it comes to you. You will always know what you want, and mind readers, they are not. So a web designer can make a beautiful, gorgeous website that reflects your brand and your story, but you know your brand and your story best. There are some website designers who are also great branding people. There's some web designers who are also great business coaches, but just go into it, the situation, knowing what it is that you need and that you want to accomplish. So, again, have a plan if things don't go as expected. So, website maintenance. This is very, very huge. This is something that I didn't really invest in. Once I had my website, it was up and running. It was fine. It was great. I'd have people come in, add a plugin or two, fix something here, fix something there. But what I did not realize or really fully appreciate is that websites need to be maintained, especially if they're running on WordPress. Plugins get updated all the time. There's lots of bugs and viruses and people who can get into your website, especially on WordPress, that when you have a plugin, you really do need to keep up with maintenance. And life happens, right? Life happens to all of us. You might forget to maintain your car, or you might do your oil check a little too late. I don't know about you, but that happens to me a lot. And the same thing happened to me with my website. Only one time, I went to my website one day and it did not look the same. It had been hacked. And, when that happens, and like I said, when and if that happens, have a plan B, right? Because of past experiences, I have a pretty extensive network of people who are more technically savvy than I am. So I went to a group and I, showed them my problem. They said, you know what, it looks like it's hacked. This is a website you can go to see and confirm it. And they took me to the website, it confirmed it. And they also recommended a place to get it fixed. They also sat me down. I had a consult call with this person, and, they talked to me about, to be quite honest, it may make more sense to set up a new website, right? The recovery could be kind of extensive, blah, blah, blah. And I had to have a plan B. So I have another website that's hosted on Squarespace. So I was, that was easy for me. But in any case, have a plan B. Your plan B might just be a Google Doc. All right. Some people have a Google Doc that's set up like a sales page where they can send out information to people and they can have people sign up for their program. So I'm going to talk about how to spot reputable help. So these are just some characteristics that I have found that reputable web designers care about, or things that they say to me that make sense. So they ask about your income goals and know that you don't just run a hobby, right? The purpose, okay, so let me back up. The purpose of a website is to attract people to your business. I don't believe it to be something that's just pretty, something to have, a nice to have. It should be functioning as a way to advertise you. It should be your 24-hour working customer service, your 24-hour working sales rep, your 24-hour working manager, marketing manager. So your website is doing all of those things. So because of that, a web designer, while they're not your business coach, they should care about your income goals. They should ask about your one-liner. They should have an action plan based on your goals. I've said this a few times. They really should have a plan. They should ask about your plan for tracking your leads. Again, that's the whole point of a website, to bring in people who want to work with you. And so if you have a website and it's not doing that, it can be easy to blame the web designer. It says, hey, I invested in you, you built me this website, but nobody's coming but I don't have any more business. A reputable web designer wants to make sure that you are doing your part with keeping track of the people that they are bringing in for you. And they care if you have customer testimonials. Again, they want you to be successful, because when you're happy, when your website's working for you, you do something absolutely amazing for the web designer. You tell other people that the web designer is great and that they exist, and you send people their way, and they will love you forever for that. So it's really in their best interest to make sure that you have a great first experience. So, think about what I've said so far. What are some of your walkaway points? I mean, I'm sure that you've had, walkaway points with other things. Just think about what sort of things that you did not want to stand for, that you won't stand for. And, this might be on your day job or in your career. But just think about that. And there's certain feelings that we get when we know that things aren't working in the best way possible. And when you feel those feelings start to resurface in another situation, no matter what that situation is, pay attention to that. Okay. So that's pretty much it. I hope something about this was helpful. I hope this gave you some, things to think about. And, if you have any questions about anything, feel free to reach out and let me know. I'm going to leave my contact information somewhere around here. And I look forward to staying in touch. Take care.